Why did the recall of these cars happen? Why did it happen that the brakes didn't work and the accelerator stayed on, killing a few people, where it meant that these cars had to be recalled? But something obviously went wrong within the department to structures and interdepartmental relationships between different departments in Toyota. So they would need to sort this out, and they would need to make sure this doesn't happen again. And this would only make them stronger in the future. Okay? But the other good thing is that they were able to ride this storm, and they were able to come out of this storm as well intact. What are some of the other critical analysis of this? Well, the other strengths are that they've got a good brand image. The brand image is very strong. Even though they took some hits, nevertheless, it didn't affect all their branding. It didn't affect all their cars. People didn't associate this one mishap with this one model with the rest of their brand, which was a good thing. It shows that their branding is very strong and established. Let's look at some pros and cons of the macro factors. What are some of the pros and cons of the macro factors? So some of the pros of the macro factors, macro big, is their good distribution networks. Okay, what else is a pro?
Government subsidies.
Government subsidies, that's fantastic. So in Japan, they were giving subsidies to consumers who bought cars with a hydrocarbon fuel. And that was great because Toyota developed a car with a hydrocarbon fuel and was now selling loads, turning over billions in Japan on this model, which also leads the way for future developments and opportunities in other countries if other countries want to have cars with hydrocarbon fuels. Okay? What about some of the weaknesses from a macro point of view? From a macro point of view, we've had a highly competitive environment. It's a highly competitive environment in terms of Porter's 5-force model in the middle there. Okay? They have to compete, they always have to be on top, they have to know their customers, they have to segment, target and position themselves, and they must make sure they do their marketing properly. And from a macro perspective, they have been losing sales in certain geographical marketplaces. Okay?
Similar models.
Or similar models, okay, at lower cost. So, but overall, what's your critical evaluation of the macro factors? Because this says, so you state the pros and cons of the macro, you state the pros and cons of the micro, and then you say, what's your critical evaluation of Toyota now, given all this? What's your critical evaluation? Toyota are a long-established company, and Toyota do have a lot of strengths, and they are fighting against a huge competition with companies, big companies with large resources and money to invest in the marketplace, like Tata, who have taken over Land Rover, and they're now spending, they spent over 15-20 billion on Land Rover, and now Land Rover are now turning over billions in terms of profits. So but when we look at Toyota, overall, we can see they are very strong. And what makes them strong is their long-established brand. Their branding is strong. But coupled with that, they have their research and development department. The research and development department is so strong that they continually come out with new products and new product developments. The new car with the hydrocarbon fuels, cars with electric and petrol, cars hopefully with electric in the future, purely 100% electric. So they're developing new cars all the time. But the other key thing that Toyota have is their strong distribution network in all the countries which they have, in terms of franchisees who sell their products. So even though Toyota have, there are negative and positive in both macro and micro factors, Toyota still are very strong, or a strong competitor in this marketplace. Okay? Are there any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.